Well, one thing we were all talking about yesterday, Mark, was Erik Ten Hag dropping Marcus Rashford for disciplinary reasons. Before we get to the game, once again, we've seen the Manchester United coach put his foot down. Were you surprised to see it was Marcus Rashford, though?
Yeah, I was. But then when we found out what it was almost quite comical in a way that he overslept. And I think it's a credit to Ten Hag, because during the summer tour of Australia, Alejandro Garnacho, the young player, was again upsetting Ten Hag with his timekeeping. So Ten Hag dropped him and didn't give him any games. So the view at United is that he can't apply that rule to a young kid and not apply it to a senior player like Rashford. So with Ten Hag, the rules are the rules. You know, if you miss a meeting, if you're late, you get dropped, you get punished. And, you know, we saw him take on Cristiano Ronaldo on several occasions this year, which a lot, you know, maybe last season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ralph Rangnick were frightened to death of Ronaldo. So I think Ten Hag has laid down the law. And, you know, it's a long time since Sir Alex Ferguson left United now. It's 10 years since Fergie left. But for me, Ten Hag is showing the exact kind of discipline and rule that Ferguson had so much success with. You know, there's only one boss, and that's the manager. And Ferguson would do this. He would drop players. He dropped David Beckham. He dropped Wayne Rooney, all these big players that you think, wow, you know what? I remember being at games when Fergie dropped people like Rooney and Beckham thinking, I can't believe he's done that for a big game. He dropped Rooney against Real Madrid once, and obviously they lost that game, but that showed you that discipline and control come over everything for a manager. And, you know, Ten Hag had that idea with Rashford, and he put him on at half-time. He showed there was no grudges, and Rashford won the game. And I think fair play to Rashford as well. After the game, he was asked about it, and he said, look, totally behind the manager. Being late for a meeting, it's non-negotiable. He was right. I've scored a goal. Let's move on. So there's no hangover. There's no residue. And I just think it showed that Ten Hag has really got a grip of Man United. And for the first time in 10 years, they look like a team that's going places and with somebody in charge. And that's great to see. You know, who knows where they can go from here.
And you're absolutely right. This is a masterclass. They should teach that in coaching schools. What Ten Hag is doing, because I mean, the same players as with Ragnick and even Ola. I mean, not same couple of additions, but it goes to show what leadership can do. That masterclass, because with Ronaldo, I mean, he got rid of him, always wanted to, without looking like a bad guy. And that's not easy with a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, right? For any manager, especially somebody like Ten Hag. It's not like he's all that experienced. So that's one. The Rashford situation, think about it. I mean, if I was in that dressing room, and it happened before, I mean, it's just trivial. What he did with him, he didn't have to do that. He could have forgotten about it. No player would have said, I can't believe Rashford's playing because he overslept. It happened. This wasn't a bad thing that happened to Rashford where he had no choice. He had a choice of playing him. So all that is trivial. But by doing so, he got a response. He comes in the second half. He scores the goal. And now Ten Hag in that dressing room solidifies his leadership. So to me, it's absolutely incredible. I'd worry if I was everybody else in the Premier League about Manchester United going forward already this season in the future, because it almost seems to me like that leadership, he came in and changed Manchester United overnight. He really has. All the struggles of the past 10 years, if this continues, it's forgotten because he's got the player. He may get finally the new ownership, which is going to be another bonus. And here we are, Manchester United, back where they were once before, a long time ago under Sir Alex Ferguson, as you said, Mark.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.